Alrighty, enough of that. What is up, everybody? Say hi in the chat. I'll try to say an attempt to pronounce your name. We already got a few people. JTG69YT, hello. I hope that's not your real name in real life. That would be very strange. Maybe you're a son or a daughter of a celebrity. Anybody here like Elon Musk is like naming their child like Y? Just like or X and Y, like two children, like their X and Y coordinates or something. Very strange. We're gonna get started here in a few. Moreno, what is up? JVS, who is my developer / partner on DesignCourse. We got Qasim, hello. Toma, Danny, SQ, Anita. Okay, very good. I'm actually pretty decent. I just got back from the gym literally like 15 minutes ago, so I had to bust ass to get ready here. All right. Okay, so for those of you who are new to this show, it is essentially a place where you submit your designs. We've already got a bunch of designs submitted already via Discord. They're usually just UI UX designs. They could be anything though. If you have a logo design that you did, I can certainly give you feedback on that because I've done that for many years. And I'll give you feedback, essentially, give you a rating on 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and just help everybody improve, essentially. So if you want instructions on how to submit your designs in the YouTube description here, I'm not going to go over all of that. All right, so one thing before we begin, I did want to show something that we're working on. And by we're working on, I mean JVS, my developer and I'm going to show you guys real quickly. It's a new module type for DesignCourse.com for the upcoming interactive CSS course. So I'm getting this up on the other monitor. I'll show you guys 1 second once I get it ready to rock. And I'm pretty proud of it. It's pretty awesome. So this is for the CSS course. So we're going to click this, and this is the new interface. So this new module type is going to allow me to teach CSS and in an interactive way. So you have instructions here on the left. For instance, the goal is to get to this, like take this red square. Now, this isn't going to be a real challenge. This is something I threw together really quick. It looks ugly, right? It's to take this. This is the objective. So if we hit start challenge, this is where we're at. So the way you get there, there's certain objectives that we've defined that you can define. Define a grid container and then center the square vertically and horizontally with one property. And it shows you the HTML and the CSS. And you can collapse these things. Look at that, very snazzy. I just realized I should probably reset that. Okay. And then, your goal is like display grid. All right. Place content and center. And there we go. So now it is checked off both of those, and graffiti animation will play, and then you can move on to the next challenge. So it's going to be an exciting way to teach CSS in this interactive form. So there'll be video instructions, and then there'll be these types of modules worked in. Very excited about that. If you're interested in that sort of thing, designcourse.com/CSS. Make sure to enter your email. There's that graffiti. I love graffiti. And to be notified when this releases, which will be later this year sometime, perhaps sometime in the summer. So definitely check that out. And then finally, I'm going to spam you one more time, and people requested this for some reason in the chat just now. Yeah, let's do this. That I might rate a 4 or 5, up to 8 and beyond. But more important than that, as a better designer, this means that you can land higher paying clients and jobs. This course includes over 16 hours of video, 40 interactive UI design tests, and even mentorship where I personally take a look at your work that you submit, I review it, and many times I also revise it, providing you with great feedback to help you become a better designer. Now during this stream only, you can use the coupon code STREAM22 at checkout to get 22% off. Now you better hurry up because at the end of this stream, I will deactivate this coupon. All right, let's get back to it. Yeah, that's confetti, not graffiti. All right, let's get started. So the one thing I am changing about this particular stream is, we do have 2 different Discord servers, one for the Design Course members, the ones who joined to take the UI UX course, and then one from just the regular server. People in there now will get priority for the submissions. Now, there's only 3 submissions, so don't worry, people. We'll be able to, get to the regular non-design course people as well. So, if you really want me to review your designs, that's another perk for joining the course at DesignCourse.com. All right, so let's check out Peacekeeper. And here we go. Let's ready to rock. They say first CTA button will take you to another page. Check out also. All right, so I don't know if I can review a ton of different pages or even multiple pages, just because we have a lot of these to get through. All right. Okay. So let's check this one out. I'm going to refresh this, see if there's any animation. Yep. Well, I think it's just waiting for the video to load. Okay. All right. So one thing I have a problem with, one thing that we can improve right away, I'm guaranteeing you is margin top. There we go. Margin top 1M unit looks pretty good. More white space on the top. It's pretty close to your navigation up here. So that's one thing that you kind of want to be wary of, essentially. The book now button, I would prefer to have that filled in white solid like this by default, because it kind of gets lost, especially with the other high contrast strokes right here, or borders, whatever you want to call them. You want your call to action to really stand out, so make it that by default. All right, so outside of that, we got glass morphism, as it is called. And these are pretty decent right here. I don't really have much of a problem with that. I think the stars are a little bit separated out too much, though. This right here is really quite solid, although I'm not a huge fan of the icons here. It seems like you could put unique icons and not just these little check boxes here. But this is pretty solid for the most part. It might slightly change, increase the typographic visual hierarchy between this element and this element by possibly making this one just gray, and or making this a little bit more bold as well. Again, same thing like join us right here. I would make that solid. This is all a pretty solid design though. All right, so if I bring this in, how it's responsive nature. All right, so like one thing right here, when we go from the collapsed, from the expanded version to the collapsed version, you could still put some links here. Maybe 1 or 2 of your more important links, because you have the space here. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do y'all think this person should get for a rating? Yes, you have to submit your link in Discord. One being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know what y'all think. All right, so for me, looking at this, I'm going to give this a rating of probably like a 7.3 or so. It's pretty solid, I have to say. 7.4. Pretty nice. Just a few small things. Very solid. Next up, this individual, Prasad, has really been wanting me to review their design for like a million years. Design of a video streaming platform. Hoping to get an awesome review and rating on it. Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, I can only be honest. All right, let's see. Not a huge fan of the light pink right here, or purple rather, with the white text. Like that's hard to read. I would go opposite with this and make this dark like the title right here. Overall, the layout looks pretty solid. Just kind of checking this out, and yeah, let me change this. This is kind of zoomed up a lot. Yeah, this is all really solid, except for that text. I'm I really think you need to increase that contrast one way or the other. You can make the background darker or make the text darker itself. So for this, because it's not really a traditional UI, it's kind of one of these kind of like a case study sort of Behance, presentation. I'm going to bother with having you guys all rate it, but I mean, from what it is, this seems like it could be upper 7s, 8s, something like that. Solid work, buddy. Keep it up. All right, this is from my partner, JVS. Mr. JVS, I actually coded the whole DesignCourse.com curriculum from scratch. Not the curriculum, but the whole site, the platform. And that took over a year. So a lot of work involved there. Plus we have other projects going on. All right, so let's see if we can expand this a little bit. All right, so this is obviously a personal portfolio, which I have to say, JVS, as your partner and your friend, I don't know why you're trying to be like a freelancer or something. I think what we're creating, you can be an entrepreneur instead and not have to deal with clients, because trust me, clients, they can be terrible. I'm easy to deal with, but a lot of clients, they really suck. I mean, I've dealt with so many of them. In my mind, when it comes to making money on the internet or in the tech space, you start off at the bottom as an employer/employee, or as an employee. Then one level up there is the freelance. You can be your own boss. That's great. And then to step up from that is to get rid of the clients and then be an entrepreneur of some sort in a project. So I'm hoping that once Skillform launches, which is our other project, we can just discard this idea. Anyhow, let's get to this design. All right. So obviously a very super simplistic approach. This is what you would consider a monochromatic approach, because they're essentially just two colors. There's white, and then there's varying shades and tints of this blue color. It's this darker desaturated, for the most part, blue. I like that. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. I will say that the project writing and more about me is a little bit on the low contrast side of things. Sorry, there is a automatic mister in my reptile enclosure over here, and it's buzzing. So just give that a few more seconds and it'll shut up. Anyhow, my projects, okay, DesignCourse.com, DesignCourse. Pretty good cards here. Have no problem with that. Writing, so here's cards for like a blog post area. Yeah, very solid. Okay, so this isn't monochromatic now. We have a primary color, or an accent color rather, that's been introduced, which works very well with this. Yeah, looks pretty solid to me. I like this little sticky nav right here as well. Awesome. All right. Just because it's so early stages, I'm not going to bother with a rating for that, but it's definitely solid. All right, continuing on, DesignJunction.xyz. Yes, reptile enclosure. I have a bunch of reptiles. I have a bearded dragon. I have a baby Asian water monitor. I have a 17-foot reticulated python. I have a Burmese python, and then very soon I'm getting an adult Asian water monitor. So very exciting stuff. All right, Design Junction, quality free resources for designers by designers. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so the biggest issue here is alignment. All right, so what do I mean by that? Well, essentially, we have all this white space right here, but then we have tiny amount of white space up here. Push this stuff down, center it vertically centered. And it's gonna fill out the design so much more. Outside of that, there's a the call to action here is a text field. Search from over 1,000 resources. Now, my problem with this is you have a lot of space here, a lot of screen real estate, essentially here, especially on this 4K monitor. I think this needs to be emphasized more, because this is a single action from which you want them to take. So it kind of feels almost just like an afterthought, almost in style, kind of like a pill button. So I feel like you need to make this kind of larger and rethink about how you want to really emphasize this search a lot more. Because if you think about it, if you look at google.com, I mean, that's like the central thing. And this seems like it could be emphasized more. Outside of that, I like the graphic here, this floating little graphic. I think it just needs to be aligned a little bit better. Outside of that, like this section, pretty solid. I like the icons. I really like this approach. A very light, has a little bit of blue in it background with the white cards on top. It's a very common pattern. You do have a little bit of shadows, a drop shadow, but it's not overpowering. It's very minimal, which is how it should be on each of these cards. I like the little transforms hover animation. Yeah, 100% right here, I would say. All right. Yeah, very solid. What do y'all think this person should get for a rating? Yeah, the biggest issue is just this alignment area. I don't understand why was that a thing. Let's see. Wonder if I could just do some margin top. All right. Yeah, so like that's a lot better. Now, of course, maybe, you know, you wouldn't want to have this much white space at the bottom. Maybe half that from where this begins. But yeah, you want to move that away from the top like it is up here. All right. I would say for this one, I'm going to give this a rating of, yeah, at least a 8.0, I would have to say. Someone said, oh, I thought somebody said 5. No, this is definitely like an 8. It's just this issue right here. It would probably be like an 8.5 for what it is, or closer to 9 if this wasn't an issue up here. Next up, we got a Figma document. Let's check her out. All right. What is this? This is a digital business card. It is very common in my country. Alrighty then. So it's a digital business card. That's strange. Isn't that like a website essentially? All right. I'm not sure what's happening here. We got a bunch of like line outs. It's a little bit cluttered in this area. You need to simplify this big time. There's just too much happening up in this little header portion. I would say that you need to have a little bit more structure in this area right here. There's a lot happening, and there's a lack of white space like between this icon section and the save us and contacts. Plus you have a lot of crazy colors occurring here, especially with this down here, and then you have this gradient, and then you have this gradient. I would go back and try to simplify this a little bit more in terms of the color scheme, and also structuring these sections out a little bit more. But this is interesting because it's not meant to be a website apparently, although that doesn't make sense because this is like a drop-down menu, so maybe it is. So I don't know why you would call it a digital business card. All right, well, I don't know. All right, well, we're not going to bother with a rating. Hopefully my feedback was of value anyhow. Let's do the next one. By the way, Stream 22 is the coupon code for DesignCourse.com if you want to take advantage of 22% off during this stream. Otherwise, I will be disabling or deactivating that coupon code. All right, at the end. Welcome, Gary. All right, so we have a workout program. By the way, one of the first apps I ever tried building was back in like 2004, and that was going to be one of the first fitness like bodybuilding journal websites out there. All right, so start workout, add workout, previous workouts, workout template. Okay, looking here. All right, so a little strange things happening. Like for instance, if you look at this drop down, like why is it over here? And then why is this one close over here? It's probably because you squashed this, you duplicated this one, you squashed this, and you didn't maintain the spacing. So you want to make sure the icon, the down arrow, is consistently same amount of white space. Otherwise, it throws off the flow of the layout. I like the call to action down here. That's actually pretty solid. Trying to think here, what else would I change? You do have some unnecessary high contrast strokes. Like there's a vertical one right here. These are pretty high contrast and I would say unnecessary. Then you have a lower contrast one right over here. So it's like unnecessary clutter in certain spaces, I have to say. I would get rid of the dumbbells in the background. Nobody needs that. I mean, you might be able to use that for like a landing page, for a marketing page, but the main UI, unnecessary completely. Nobody cares about that. I would make these darker in the background and just make it darker. That way this text can kind of stand out a little bit more, have a little bit more contrast. All right. It's not realized on the web, so I'm not going to bother with a rating for that. Let's go. Here's dumb school project, far from done. All right. Let's check this one out. All right. All right, I like this. Very simple, good logo, good navigation. Blah, 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 blah. I can't read that. Let's translate it. I like this approach, by the way. Some people would just take a picture of a dog, like it's a rectangle picture of a dog, and just slap it on there. Do something like this to make it more interesting. You know, put them in these containers with rounded corners, and just, you know, that's a great way to easily add interest to a project here for a landing page. I like the colors here, very solid. Very solid cards. Card designs well. The visual hierarchy structured well between all these four elements. We got the date, we have the headline or the title, description, and the read more. Notice they're all styled differently, which is what you want. All right, quite solid here. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get for a rating? Let me know what you think here. I'm going to give this, for what this is, probably like, although there is maybe there's supposed to be something here. They said it is in development. For what this is, I'm going to give this a solid 8.0 at least. Thank you for the super chat, Milan. As it states in the YouTube description, these do not, super chats don't guarantee me reviewing your design. So I take them in the order that they're received. So I'm not sure how far down you are, but I do take them in the order that they're submitted. So hopefully I will be able to get to yours. All right, next up. All right, so for this, I'm going to do a slight refactor. Just because I like to do this sometimes. All right, so one problem I have with this, we need to move things and we have to scale things down just a tiny bit. So connect. Well, maybe we'll do this. Scale that. I'll be honest, I kind of don't even like that little underline. It looked kind of sloppy. By sloppy, I mean like it wasn't a nice angle. Like if I get out the pen tool, I'll do one for you if you want me to. Well, it doesn't matter if you want me to. I'm going to do it anyway. We're gonna get that color here. And we'll get this larger, and we will change the end caps to round. Okay, wait, no. What happened? Round, there we go. All right, so I think that's a better underline than what you had over here, which is kind of just like, it's not nice. It's not nice. This is a nicer version, in my opinion. All right, and I'm also gonna reduce the leading, which is the line height. All right, and then we're gonna take this, so we're gonna scale that down. around there. You take your call to action, which is this form. All right, we take it all like this, maybe just move it over, maybe in line with where the word mark starts. Maybe move this up right around there. There we go. So that is the refactor. As you can see, this area right here just kind of, it fits the design much better. This one over here is just a little bit too spread out, and it's too close to this bottom section, so it becomes kind of difficult. It becomes cluttered, essentially. So that versus this, that's what we want right here. All right, next up. All right, so a big issue that we have here is you have a real vibrant background, which you've essentially made the background the same in this container here. In my opinion, it would make much more sense. You can keep that background, but I think this right here should be background white. And then color for everything black. I don't know if the important flag will work here, because it's not. So we lost some of the content, unfortunately. Yeah, this is so much easier to see than, and it gives it structure as an actual kind of like a panel background, rather than this right here. It just looks too cluttered, especially with this vibrant orange header right here. There's too much happening in terms of the colors. You got this drop shadow. So simplify the design by making this a white background. So I think that's going to be the biggest. Also, your hover state right here, if I hit Control-1. Oh, darn it, it's not working. I have to get out my my zoom thing that's not running. But if you hover over it, it's like a green hover state for these right here. I don't like that one bit. You can make them bold or do an underline, and that would just be far better for the hover state. All right. Not enough happening here to justify a rating, though. So let's keep on rocking. The stream does lag sometimes, unfortunately. All right. Next up, let's see here. How long have I been going? Oh, 29 minutes. All right. So, obviously not much happening here. What is happening? Why is this? What is this? What the hell? Usually it shows me over here like the layers, but it's not doing that for some reason. Let me close this out. All right. Maybe it'll show me now. Okay, everything's just a group. You should put everything in a frame. That's kind of strange. Let's change this to black, by the way. That looks so much better than what it was. So let's put this over here. Yeah, so apparently there's stream problems. Great, awesome, love it. It's either YouTube's fault or my host. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, it says stream status is poor. I'm almost about not to. I'm almost ready not to stream anymore on YouTube because this is happening way too frequently. Well, I'm gonna keep on going on anyhow. Because what else am I gonna do? Just sit here and cry about it? Let's see. I think that'd be a better color choice here. These aren't in the actual center of those buttons, so why is that? Everything is a group here, unfortunately. So it's like, look at how many groups there are. What is this person doing? Well, I can't fix it, but this type here should be in the vertical center of the button. Oh, it says my stream health is excellent now. Now it says it's poor. Awesome. Great job. All right. Awesome. Anyhow, so you want to take your type and make it black. You want to center that text vertically within the buttons. And I think you'd be, you know, a decent amount of improvement. I think overall this text should probably be a little bit smaller based on the size of, you know, this looks like a tablet size, honestly. So this should be maybe a little bit smaller type in the section here. But other than that, there's not enough here to really justify a rating. So let's just continue on. All right. Yeah, maybe Twitch is a option. It's still telling me my stream status is poor though, so whatever. Having said that, I think we'll use this as an opportunity to go ahead.
All right, time to take a break from the reviews. Now, chances are if you're watching this video, you probably want to be a better designer. And if that's the case, how much do you really want it? Because at DesignCourse.com, I've created a UI UX course that will help you go from designing layouts that I might rate a 4 or 5 up to 8 and beyond. But more important than that, as a better designer, this means that you can land higher paying clients and jobs. This course includes over 16 hours of video, 40 interactive UI design tests, and even mentorship where I personally take a look at your work that you submit, I review it, and many times I also revise it, providing you with great feedback to help you become a better designer. Now, during this stream only, you can use the coupon code STREAM22 at checkout to get 22% off. Now, you better hurry up because at the end of this stream, I will deactivate this coupon. All right, let's get back to it.
All right, back to it. Let's continue on. All right, let's check her out. All right, work, that's our work. Branding, art direction, user interface, okay. It is lacking a call to action of some sort, so if you want us to scroll down, have like a scroll indicator or a button of some sort. We do have a hamburger menu, which I've talked about this a million times. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you have plenty of room to put those 4 links without having us to have to click this, creating 2 clicks instead of 1. Outside of that, we have some locomotive scroll. As we can see, the smooth scroll. I like this section, very simple gallery. All right. Yeah, overall, pretty solid. I like the transitions. I like the subtle animation that's occurring here. Let's check work. What's that do? All right, so these are all going kind of to the same page. I guess it's not yet finished. But for what this is pretty solid. I actually like it a lot. I like the logo as well. Very simple. Nice. Cool. Looks like it might be unfinished, so we're not going to bother with a rating there as well. Alrighty, next up, HandyMax Solutions. Remodels and repairs. Alrighty. I would probably get rid of these little high contrast borders right there. It's unnecessary in my opinion. So this sort of approach to landing page design with the hero section, with a photograph watermark background and the text centered in the middle with 2 call to actions or whatever. You can't go wrong with it. It's more of a dated approach. We saw that more around like the 2013, 2014 realm, but it still works, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. Let's scroll down. This is very simple. I like a consistent usage of the color scheme right here. We have these icons using, they're really high contrast icons, but they work well because the titles beneath them they're big. They're white. I like it. All right, so this, I don't really like the contact form. There's just a little bit too much happening here with so many fields being requested. And I do notice that it's in an actual like card container, but you could barely tell the difference. So it just looks like it's improperly aligned. I would probably just get it outside of that little container right here and start everything here. What I would do to make this form a lot better is put it into 2 columns. So you would have this right here. We're going to take the width to 50%. All right. So the width is now, look how much better that looks because these are high contrast text fields right here. If we put some other additional information right here, such as your phone number, your email address, and your hours of operation, that could go all right here in this section. And that way here, at least on desktop, you don't have these extremely long text fields. All right. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do y'all think this person should deserve for a rating? Let's check out the responsive nature. Simple enough. All right, so for what this is, I'm going to give it a 7.2. I think that's pretty fair. Next up. All right, so my eyeballs are being blinded by trying to read "Hey there." There's just not enough contrast, and we also have a real big issue with what's called color contrast. Yeah, this sort of, I'm not sure what color this is. I actually like that color a lot. But on this mid light gray background, it just hurts your eyeballs. So there's a few ways that you can fix that. You can make this text white. You can wrap it in a little container with a background that is white. There's a lot of things you could do. Like for instance, let's see if I can do it real quickly right here. So if I take this, we'll say background white, display inline block, padding 0.3 em units. Let's just do 0.2 em units and then 0.4 em units. And then we'll do border radius 0.3 em units. All right, so that's one thing that you can do to make this text readable. All right, secondly, this right here, you can hardly read it at all. So perhaps the best idea is to take this photograph, if you want to keep it, make it a lot darker, and then everything on here will then become more readable. All right. Good design right here. I like the structure pretty much. Now, one thing I don't like is I'm always talking about this as well. Avoid mid grays for backgrounds. It just makes everything look bland. It almost makes things look like a prototype or like a wireframe, something that's unfinished. It's just bland. If you're gonna keep this background color, make these white and make the text on top of them, inside of them, black. I really like this section. I love the colors. This is far better, much higher quality than this right here, 100%. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get? I mean, there's different quality of design that I see here. This is very high, and this is definitely lower than that. Yeah, that ampersand has to go. Yeah, it's very strange looking. All right, so for me, I'm going to give this a rating, all things considered, and kind of just averaging out the design that I see here, like a 7.4, 7.5. I think if we fixed the issues here and we fixed this right here and made it all, it would be like 8.5. Yeah. All right, next up. My capstone project prototype. I'm gonna let it load. All right, so we got a mobile prototype here, in Figma. All right, so medication management at your fingertips. Very simple, simple logo, monochromatic approach for the color scheme. Let's try sign up. All right, nice animation revealing the form. All looks pretty solid to me. A little bit more white space or padding left inside of these. It's a little, the type's a little bit too close to the left, so double the amount that's currently there. All right, we sent a confirmation email, blah, blah, blah. I would probably move this email a little bit closer to the we sent a confirmation to part, just because there's 3 lines happening here, actually 4 lines, so it's a little bit of a mess in a sense. We have looks like we have a Lottie GIF animation occurring here. We have onboarding. Yeah, pretty solid here from what I see so far. Very solid. I can't go through the whole design, but from what I see, looks pretty solid to me. I probably rate that, you know, mid-7s or so as well, or upper 7s. All right, next up. File not found. Unfortunately, that URL does not work. Sorry about that. That happens sometimes. That person's probably slamming their keyboard right now, as I would be as well. Probably waited this whole time just to realize that they didn't submit it correctly. All right. Issue with the type here, I do not like slightly extended letter spacing. Yeah, so keep that letter spacing back to default. You know, seriously, I think that's the much better approach. In fact, I'll do a quick refactor here. Looks like our stream is doing a lot better, fortunately. So we take this type and we get rid of the 10%. There we go. Look how much better that looks. Not good, a little bit harder to read. A lot better, clearly. I would take probably, you know, this, maybe move it over just so it's not cluttering the design so much. I mean, maybe even get rid of that. I'm not sure how I would want to approach this, but I mean, hell, maybe even get rid of both of them. I mean, because look what's happening here. There's a lot of clutter created by these blurred out illustrations, and it just takes away from the content. Look how much simpler this looks. Tell me if you agree. Do you think this version's better compared to this version? I have to say, I don't care what you guys say. Objectively speaking, this is better over here. It's a lot better. Plus, there's also some extended letter spacing there. We're gonna take that. And you're bolding too many words right here, so I would just take this and just make it regular. You're gonna simplify it a lot more. It becomes so much easier to read. So we got that in the before, and then we have this in the after. So much better. Simplify, 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 simplify. Again, get default tracking and spacing here. It'll look a lot better. All right, so I already did a quick refactor. I want to kind of speed things up here for other people as well. Hopefully you will have gained something from that. Old version's better. Unbelievable. Completely disagree. Unreal. All right, let's check this out. We have a car, something, blah, blah, blah. I don't like the color selection. There's a lot of blues right here in this car photograph. And to have this kind of like burgundy color up here, it doesn't really fit well in my opinion. So, you know, you could fix that. I'll show you how to fix it. Let's go over here. Well, I pay for like the fastest internet I can, so I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe I should do a speed test. We'll see how fast my internet is. All right. We'll wait for those results. Yeah, so I'm at, my download speed's at 460 megabytes per second, megabits or whatever. So it's like, I mean, things should be going fast enough. My upload speed isn't that great. It's only 20 because they suck here in the US. So for this up here, this header, you know, let's detach that. Let's make this a different color. There's a lot of approaches we could take. We can make it white with, of course, darker text on the foreground. We could make it this color with darker text in the foreground. So we could do like black, and then this weird muted color can become black as well, but maybe just make it bold. The motors type would have to be, you know, this right here, this burgundy just doesn't really work well. We could probably even try taking a color from this. Oh shit, I didn't want to do that. This I think is the one. There we go. You know, we could possibly do even something like, let's see, that, and then take the type and make it white. That works a lot better than, say, this. All right. So continuing on, I don't like these cards, unfortunately. They're really small. I mean, you have 5 of them right next to each other, and then we have this empty space over here. I would fill those all out with this available space that you have defined from this column to from this column. These cards down here aren't too bad, actually. Seems like you have a lot of stuff happening in the background with watermarks, and they're also probably not the right color for the watermarks. Like if I click this, we should be changing these colors to the background. You grab the background color that it's sitting on, and then you just add shade or tint, or in other words, lightness or dark, you know, being dark. So like this one right here, same thing. Like that. So look how better these watermarks look compared to these ones. These are like kind of like gray. So when you have like a completely desaturated, like, you know, a gray values on top of colored values like this darker desaturated blue, they don't look good. But look how much better this fits in this regard. All right. Continuing on. An XD prototype. Well, I've been going on for 50 minutes. All right, just about. All right, so my biggest problem I have with this, and trust me, I really like the design for the most part, is the type doesn't have enough contrast by default over here. So like these parts, and I think the alignment as well, it's kind of strange. It looks like you have like a sub links like right here that are indented, but it's kind of far away from online assignments. So I think the text color needs to be darker so that we have higher contrast on the left over here. And I would say the same thing for almost all the other type here. And this is another one of those examples I was just talking about. Well, I can't really tell if this is a gray text on this blue background color. It might not be, but I still think it needs to be darker just to have more contrast. Same comments right here as well for all this type, really. In terms of the layout, I really like the layout. It looks pretty solid. I think this column over here should be on the same row as this over here. So move this up. It doesn't make sense to have all this white space because you have this right here on this row, and these are all aligned, and then all of a sudden the thing in the middle over here is not aligned. So that's one thing I would try to fix as well and just keep consistent. Other than that, I really like the nice simplicity of this design. Not going to really bother too much with a rating here, as it's not fully yet realized in the browser. All right, good job though. Wait, did I skip somebody? Yes, I did. All right, super simple approach here. I think on you know, a large desktop like this, you should make things a little bit larger because it's so small right now. It's like tiny, and then we have like all this massive open space of the universe on the left and right. And look how tiny these elements are. Like more about me, like make things larger. It should look like this, but that's me zoomed up by 150%. All right, good implementation of the light and dark mode. I wouldn't have such a huge image right here. I would make it smaller, probably about like 50% less height, just because you don't want people to have to scroll all the way down just to start reading the actual blog post or the tutorial. But this is very simple. It works pretty well. I don't like the high contrast colored drop shadow though. I think that's a little bit too much for my liking. So I think what we could do instead is we'll take this background. Let's get rid of that drop shadow right here. Where's that at? Box shadow, yep. So we got rid of that. And then, you know, maybe we could take the background color. We're not gonna make it gray, don't worry. I was just trying to get access to the color picker thingy. We'll get this background. We can make it a little bit lighter. And probably add a little bit more padding inside of it. So that's a better approach compared to, I'm going to refresh and you'll see the original. That, yeah, for sure. All right, one being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get for a rating? Let's reset that. So yeah, it's way too small. Thank you, Fetty. I hope I hit 1 million this year. I don't know though, we'll see. For me, I'm going to give this a rating for what this is for like about a 6.5, I think. I think that's pretty fair. All right. One last time.
All right, time to take a break from the reviews. Now, chances are if you're watching this video, you probably want to be a better designer. And if that's the case, how much do you really want it? Because at DesignCourse.com, I've created a UI UX course that will help you go from designing layouts that I might rate a 4 or 5 up to 8 and beyond. But more important than that, as a better designer, this means that you can land higher paying clients and jobs. This course includes over 16 hours of video, 40 interactive UI design tests, and even mentorship where I personally take a look at your work that you submit, I review it, and many times I also revise it, providing you with great feedback to help you become a better designer. Now, during this stream only, you can use the coupon code STREAM22 at checkout to get 22% off. Now you better hurry up because at the end of this stream, I will deactivate this coupon. All right, let's get back to it.
All right, everybody, that is gonna be it for me. I have to conclude slightly earlier than usual because I have to be somewhere very soon. But yeah, definitely consider joining DesignCourse.com and entering that coupon code STREAM22. For 22% off. I'm going to be deactivating it sometime later today. And then also, if you're from a different area of the world, you might actually qualify for parity pricing, which you can find out automatically if you visit the final step of the order form, the billing section. And like if you're from India, for instance, you get 40% off and all that good stuff. There's a lot of other countries included as well. So, all right, everybody, I will see you all soon with a new video that will probably release this coming Tuesday in 2 days. And yeah, very awesome stuff. I'm excited because tomorrow I'm going to Pittsburgh to pick up my huge monitor lizard that is 5+ feet long. I will show, I'm going to upload a regular YouTube video about the huge enclosure build that I did. So yeah, I'll see you all soon. And